We are Steve and Jill.
Together, we've been buying and reselling land since the 90s.
Our data-centric approach leaves our buyers asking, how can you sell it so cheap?
Here on the Land Academy Show.
We answer that and more. I'm Steve and Jack Butala.
And I'm Jill DeWit, and this is the Land Academy Show.
This is episode number 2194. Today, Jill and I talk about what the land and house seller profile looks like in mid-2025, which is where we are here.
Boy, I've been talking to people. I have a lot to share.
Hey, before we get into this show, right before we turn the camera and the mic on, Jill was explaining to me if she could theoretically go anywhere in the world next week, where would you go?
To which you threw out Paris, and I said no. And then what was your second one? I can't remember what you said. And I'm like, no. Oh,
Singapore.
Singapore. I'm like, no. I mean, I do want to go, but no, I really want to go somewhere and be I want to be like on a Mediterranean island, like in Greece, chilling by the pool and being a little bit pampered.
What's pampered mean? I have a lot of questions, and I think a lot of, because we can go do this tomorrow.
No, because this is what pampered means.
I'd like to know what a good trip is for you.
Good morning, Miss DeWitt. Your massage is all set for 11. Great, thank you. And when you're done, do you want your lunch by the pool like you did yesterday?
Oh, pampered.
Yes, I do.
That's not what I want. Ever. By anybody.
Well, that's what makes you great, Jack.
But this isn't about me. So, what else? So how long would you stay there? What would you do? Would you go to a movie? You go to a museum?
I'd be reading a book, enjoying the stuff. Oh, no, but there would be there'd be a dress-up dinner in town at a really amazing, let's see here, some amazing fish, all broiled, and amazing Mediterranean salad, a Greek salad.
Would you buy a new outfit for this?
Oh, it'd just be the most adorable sundress and sandals.
Oh, God. Sometimes I don't know who you are, Jill.
And a big floppy hat. And a cute purse, a woven purse.
This is never going to end, right?
Wait. Let's just go back. I can go into that great detail. And I bet you can if I ask you about, tell me about the next motorcycle, or tell me about something you want for your artillery that you haven't found you want to collect.
No, what I would do next week if you weren't around.
Yes.
Or maybe with you, but I don't know. Is this
talk
the place
more.
to have this meeting?
Yeah. Anyway, what would you do next week?
I'd take the truck camper. I would put my one or two favorite fishing rods in it. I'd probably go to Greer, Arizona, or Alpine, which is like the central eastern part of the state, where there's a bunch of lakes that I haven't seen in a lot of years. And maybe book a spot, maybe not. Probably would book a spot. I would ask 3 or 4 of my guy friends that have control of their time, who are about my age. They would all say no, because it's short notice. I know this. I would put the small motorcycle on the front of the truck camper and both of my electric bikes on the back of the truck. And then I would just pack all the equipment and go have a blast.
Okay, again, that's your version of cute sandals, sundress. What are you eating, by the way?
Oh, I'll go to Walmart.
There we go.
Or either that, or even better yet, if there's any type of transportation, or probably if it's close enough to a restaurant or a bar, I would probably seek that out.
Is there high-end whiskey involved?
Yes.
See?
But there can't be any driving, so I would have to figure that out. I would probably figure out a bicycle scenario there.
You would have that figured out. Yeah. But even if you're just drinking whiskey by a campfire.
Well, that would happen for sure.
There we go.
In fact, that might be better.
There we go. Glad we got that. See, so you kind of have your own version of it.
Yeah.
So there you go.
I would never run out of stuff to do.
Nor would
That's
I.
like that. Never. Earlier,
yes,
we were talking about getting on an airplane and a whole scenario, because I have a little short list of stuff, because we're pretty much effectively retired, about what you would do in an international setting. And Jill said, there's 3 things that I think you do when you go to some, like Paris or I don't care.
We'll get to the
City.
topic in a few minutes.
Tokyo.
Hang in
there.
there.
We will talk about land eventually. You either eat or drink. Jill covered that in her little fantasy.
Mm-hmm.
Sightsee.
I did not have that in there.
Well, eating. Dress up. Let me put dress up on here. You either eat or drink. I don't care who you are. You go sightseeing, or you sit in your hotel room. hold on one second. If you're lucky and you're with the right person, you might roll some activities in there. Activities may include renting a boat, right? Renting a Vespa maybe if you're in Europe or anywhere really, riding bikes, socializing, which is what Joe really wants to do,
I want to see the locals.
Take some classes.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Dress up is not in there, I have to say. It's you wear, because I normally just kind of pack what works. A couple shorts, jeans, tops, something for a nice dinner out. That's it.
Describe.
It's not about a wardrobe.
Describe.
Good question, though.
If you're from Phoenix, going to get on an international flight to Tokyo, describe what happens when you leave the front door of the house.
Oh, I enjoy every minute of it.
No, come on.
No, it's getting too long. I want to get to the show.
All
we
right.
can save it.
Tomorrow
Thank
we'll
you.
talk about it.
So we're talking this week. All week we came up with some topics around, talking to sellers right now because the landscape is changing. Those of you know me know what I'm talking about here. Anyway, that's a little sub thing. But the landscape is changing, and you have to change your conversation. And we're going to get to that in a little bit this week. So here are the topics this week. Today we're talking about what the land and house seller profile looks like, mid-2025. We're almost there, everyone. Tuesday, how to target land sellers who are most likely to sell below market value. There's a few other nuances that I know that Jack is looking at. 3, this is what really I'm doing different right now today, is the first 3 questions to ask a land seller on the phone. I have totally changed our script.
This is unique.
You need to know this.
Unique to this time right now.
Yep. Yeah, it's not forever. It's just what's going on right now. Thursday, how long does it take to flip a property right now, mid-2025? And Friday, we're going to talk about the profile of the perfect land and house flip in 2025. Like, what do these look like now? We all know numbers are all over the place. There's a lot of things for sale. What do I do and what does it look like? So
each day on the show, we answer a question from our Land Academy member Discord forum, and we take a deep dive into a topic by your request.
Okay, Mark wrote, has anyone ever done a land sale with a buyer who was using an FHA loan? And if so, any issues or concerns to consider? I know it's not ideal, but the price and the other terms are solid. It would be a good ROI, and although only be on the market for 3 weeks with some other interest, it's the first offer. I am familiar with FHA requirements and the process for home buyers,
Good, you're familiar.
but not for first-time lot acquisition. And I assume it's a lot more of a purchase/construction loan. Thanks in advance. Can I add one point I want to make?
Sure.
This, and I know you have a lot to say.
Yeah, I do.
So one thing I would say, Mark, no matter what Jack comes out with, no matter what comes out of Jack's mouth.
That's her nice way of saying don't listen to him.
No, I do agree with that. I am sure, like always, I'm going to agree with everything that you say. But my only little note is because just to make you feel at ease is if you take this first offer or when you lock in on a first offer and you're not real comfortable, have it written in, you're allowed to take backup offers. So that would be my one thing to consider.
I agree with that.
Just to solve it all right there.
Don't take it off the market.
Yeah. Like you could put in there, look, if you love this offer, depending how Jack tells you all about that, you can say, look, I'm happy to accept your offer. I want it written in though. I'm still going to keep it on the market. I want to get other offers. And if I get a cash offer at or above what you and I locked in at, I get to offer it to you. You'll get first right of refusal. Otherwise, I get to pivot over here. And then everybody breathes. Go ahead.
We have never done, as a seller, bear in mind we've done I'd stop counting, around 16,000 APN exchanges or sales, acquisitions and sales. We've never done an FHA loan as a seller because they suck as a seller. And the minute we heard this is an FHA-backed loan, we said no. They're complicated. My question is, why, seller, are you pursuing this piece of dirt with an FHA loan? And usually the answer is because I'm going to build a house on it. And so what FHA loves to do is roll in the deal. And so FHA, by the way, is an insurance. It's Federal Housing Administration's way of insuring a loan from a bank. So this person went to a regular bank, and then the bank probably said, you should get FHA insurance on this, and it's cheaper. So the down payment's less. The bank accepts that because they know if you default on the loan, they get paid. It's an insurance, federally backed, insurance-backed loan. So it really reduces the risk. So the bank can say, oh, I'll take less down and maybe even a bit better interest rate because I know if the worst thing happens, we're going to get paid. I've never heard, there's people probably that would say, oh, no, you don't have it right, Jack. I personally have never heard of FHA land acquisition only deal. It's always rolled in with construction to perm. So there's three components: the land acquisition, the construction loan, and then they refi all of that into one permanent loan. They have kooks. This is the federal government, by the way. Crazy requirements about how they're going to be. Someone's going to look at every step of the way that you're doing this construction. It's a mess.
To which I say, Mark, aren't you glad you listened to me and said I have the, you're going to get first right of refusal. I got a cat. While you had 6 weeks of your busy work behind the scenes, I just got a cash offer full price. If you can't match it, I'm going to take that offer.
You've had a piece of dirt on the market for 3 weeks with, you were saying, with a bunch of interest and an offer. I would say, no, thank you.
Well, my way works. My way works.
And I would it sounds like you're going to sell it, is my point.
Yes.
And there's some interest, so good. Today's topic, what the land and house seller profile looks like in mid-2025. What's happening right now that's very unique is somewhat of the beginning of a potential real estate recession. We certainly have a ton of property on the market, more than I've seen since the mid-2010.
You mean not us personally, we're talking the planet.
The country.
There we go, the country.
There's a ton of property on the market, which is a clear indication that it's a buyer's market. Buyers meaning us, you and us. So we expect a deal. We expect an amazing deal. The seller profile for us is somebody who's experiencing a life event or an economic event or some type of event that's other than, maybe you should just move down the street. Mm-hmm. And they're looking to discount or deeply discount the value of their property to sell it to somebody like us in exchange for an amazing amount of convenience. Meaning we can close in 3 weeks or 2 days or whatever you want. We're cash buyers and we will happily buy your piece of land or your house for X. So the profile of a seller right now is somebody experiencing a life event.
I agree with you. So that's what I've been watching and seeing, experiencing. It's like, because no one right now is like, look, yay, now's the time to put the house on the market. No, in most areas, I'm sure there are outliers. There's always exceptions, but I think in most areas, that's not the case. Interest rates are not spectacular compared to what they have been, right? Recently. And just the climate right now, that's not what's going on. So no one's going to be like, ooh, now's the time, let's really cash in like post-COVID. That was the time everybody was doing it. So that's the difference for me too. Post-COVID, and everybody says, great, I can work wherever I want kind of thing. People were making all those changes and it was making these prices artificially go crazy. So I think what's happening now, we talk about this all the time. Jack pointed this out. There's a little bit of market corrections happening in some areas. And so, because things are chipping down, like never before, I want to say, in the 16 years I've been doing it with you, Jack, have I got so many Zillow notifications where they say value today, value a year ago, and predicted value, and they're with an arrow pointing down.
Yeah, me too.
That and it might even just be 1%, but there's a little chip down on some of these areas. I'm like, wow, this is amazing. So what that means to me is this is not the time to go, yeah, we're going to cash in, baby. That's not what's happening. And the people that are putting their houses up there, they're like, darn it, I know it's not the best time, but we have to.
Exactly. We're in a very unique circumstance right now between now and the end of the year. And that's what this whole week is about. Joe and I are going to talk about capitalizing on that in your little real estate business.
As we're recording this, it's the beginning of May. I cannot wait to see what this summer looks like for us. I mean, not for the planet. It's not the time. I feel bad. And I hope that you listening are in a good situation with your house and you don't have to make any abrupt changes. I'd say it's like don't sell your stock right now. Just ride the storm. Don't sell your house. Ride the storm unless you have to. But for a business perspective, there's going to be some amazing deals coming our way, even better than what we've been doing, for the first part of this year.
Join us tomorrow where we discuss how to target land sellers who are most likely to sell their land below market value. You are not alone in your real estate ambition. We are Jack and Jill. Information
and inspiration
to buy undervalued property.
We hope you found our content valuable and we appreciate your support. If you have not already, please check out our channel and hit the subscribe button.
And your comments and suggestions help us to create the content you're here for. Hitting the like button helps to support our channel's algorithm and gauge your interest for future shows.